Now it is time to listen Buddha's teaching. When mind become calm, peaceful, then we can penetrate into the reality, into the truth. We can experience the actual reality. And we are ready to grasp the teachings of the Buddha. So today I will talk about the essence of all the Buddha's teaching. There are 3 gathas which contains essence of all the Buddhas. The Buddhas who were in the past and the Buddha who is in the present, like Gautama Buddha. There were many Buddhas previously. We have list of 28 Buddhas, including Gautama Buddha. In the future, there will be Mitteya Buddha. He will also have same teaching. So what is the essence of all the teachings of the Buddhas? Let us see. So there are these 3 gathas in Dhammapada book. Dhammapada book is very small book from Tipitaka. Tipitaka is Buddhist spiritual book which contains the teachings of the Buddha. This book is divided into 3 groups. One, Sutta Pitaka, that is the teachings of the Buddha. Another is Vinaya Pitaka, which contains monastic rules for the monks and nuns. And then third is Abhidhamma Pitaka, that is, we say, more profound teaching, it is said, a very profound teaching. And it deals with the ultimate realities. There is no names, no animals, no men, no women, only the elements. It deals with 4 realities, Abhidhamma Pitaka. That is, elements like earth element, water element, wind element, fire element. And mind, how mind, the nature of the mind is knowing the object. It tells greatly about the mind. And the third aspect of Abhidhamma is, it tells about the concomitants of mind, mental factors. Mental factors arises with the mind. But mind can arise itself without mental factors in some cases. But mental factors cannot arise by themselves. So Abhidhamma deals with these 3: mind, mental factors, and rupa, elements. Abhidhamma also greatly explain about up to the atoms, sub-atoms. We call it in Pali Kalapa. It deals in a great detail about these elements. And the 4th aspect of Abhidhamma is Nibbana, which is ultimate peace, which is not disturbed by any other element, like element of the body, fire, earth, water, wind, and by any internal or external objects. It is perfect peace, which we called Nibbana. It is not disturbed by any other objects. It contains no objects. No objects means there is no mind, there is no body. That is why the Buddha said the Nibbana is freed from birth and death. So Abhidhamma tells about Nibbana, these four great realities. Chitta, mind, Chetasika, mind concomitants, mental factors, and Rupa, materiality, Nibbana, the reality which is beyond, which is freed from birth and death. So these are the three Pitakas. Among these Pitakas, this small Dhammapada books comes under Sutta Pitaka. Again, there are many divisions. There are some sect in Sutta Pitaka. So this Dhammapada comes under Khuddaka Pata, in Khuddaka Nikaya, very small book. There are many books in Khuddaka Nikaya. This is one of them. So these gathas are said in this Dhammapada about the essence of the teachings of all the Buddhas. So it starts like this in Pali. I will recite in Pali first, then I will tell the meaning. Sabbha papas akaranam kusalas upasampada sachitta pariyodhapanam etang buddhana sasanam. Meaning, to avoid all evil, to cultivate good, and to cleanse one's mind. This is the teaching of all of the Buddhas. This is the teaching of the Buddhas. So here in this Gatha said, to avoid all evil, not to perform the evil actions, unwholesome actions. We perform these unwholesome actions through three doors: body, speech, and mind. Then the Buddha said, develop, cultivate the wholesome, good, do good actions. If we only restrain from the evils, after some time, we may fall back to the unwholesome state of the mind. That is why we should engage in wholesome actions also. When we perform simultaneously wholesome actions, restraining from unwholesome actions and performing wholesome actions, then we can develop goodness more strongly. And there are rare opportunities to fall back to the unwholesome states of the mind. We can see in our life, if we are just restraining from unwholesome states, from unwholesome actions, not performing wholesome actions, soon or later we will fall back to the unwholesome states of the mind. We will caught up with these unwholesome thoughts of the mind. When we caught up with the unwholesome thoughts of the mind, then we will express them with the body, with the speech. When we perform wholesome actions, then we maintain, we balance them, because we find delight in performing wholesome actions. Buddha said in one of the gathas from Dhammapada, Anandati Pechanandati Katapunyam Uvayatanandati Punyam me Katanti Nandati Bhikhu Nandati Suggatingato. The person who perform wholesome actions delight here. He delights in performing good actions. He take gladness in performing good actions. Here and after that. And thinking that I'm performing wholesome actions, punya karmas, then also he find delightness. He delight in thinking that he have been performing wholesome actions, kusala karma, punya karmas. And when he passed away, he will delight even more in the sugati, in the happy realms of existence. So that is why when we restrain from unwholesome actions and on other hand, when we do these wholesome actions, when we restrain from unwholesome actions and on other hand we perform wholesome actions, then we balance them. We fall back to the unwholesome state easily, because we are taking delight, we are rejoicing, we are finding happiness in performing wholesome actions. So that is why the Buddha said this thing: when you restrain from the evil actions, you should also do good, because when you do good, you will find delight, you will find gladness, you will find happiness. When you find happiness in the good actions, you will not do bad actions. Then the third line, which says Sachitta Paryodapanam, which means to cleanse one's mind. When we do like this, then our mind becomes purified, clear. Etam Buddhana Sasanam. This is the teaching of the Buddhas. Then in the next Gatha, here the Buddha said in Pali, Kanti Paramam Tapotitikha Nibbanam Paramam Vadanti Buddha Nahi Pabbajito Parupaghati Samanohoti Paran Vihithayantu. Vihithayantu, which means in English, enduring patience is the highest austerity. Nibbana is supreme, say the Buddhas. He is not a true monk who harms another, nor a true renunciate who oppresses others. So in this Gatha, Buddha said, among all the austerities of enduring patience is the highest. So people take this austerity practice, but Buddha said, when you are living in the society, in the family, you can practice of this patience. In fact, when we are here in meditation, there are some pain in the body, some disturbance, some sound, unpleasant objects may come across in the meditation. Then we are about to react. We like to react. In fact, we react over the objects because we are not practicing patience. Once we practice patience, then we give time to ourselves. that yes, if I react, there will be some problems. Like in the family or in the society when you are there. If someone is abusing and you are controlling your anger, you are practicing patience. You are saying, okay, calm down, relax. Then what will happen? You give time to yourself to become relaxed. When you give time to yourself, then actually you are avoiding fight, argument, evil actions. Okay? At least through the body, through the speech. So we practice this patience to avoid performing unwholesome actions and to give time to ourselves to become calm and relaxed, to think about the results also. So that is why the patience, we can use patience in our day-to-day life. So Buddha said the patience is the highest austerity, tapasya. The highest tapasya is austerity. It is very important in our day-to-day life and also in our meditation practice. Then second line Buddha said, Nibbanam paramam vadanti Buddha. All the Buddha said that Nibbana is supreme. Why it is supreme? It is supreme because there is no birth, no death, no aging, no separation from beloved ones, no death, nothing. That is why the Buddha said Nibbana is supreme, because it is not conditioned by birth. Once there is birth, there is death. And many other problems, physical problems, mental problems, remorse, lamentation, and many other problems. So Nibbana is freed from this birth and death. That is why Buddha said it is supreme. It is said by all the Buddhas. The third line, he is nahi pabbajito paro paghati na samano hoti parang vihithayanto. These are two lines, last two lines. Here it is said, he is not a true monk who harms another. The monk who harms other beings, to another people, another living beings, he is not a true monk. A monk cannot harm to any beings, not only human beings but also non-human beings. He cannot harm. If he harms, he is not a true monk. The last gatha, the last line, nahi na samana hoti param vihithayanto, which means nor a true renunciate who oppresses others, who harms others, who become a cause to oppress other or to oppresses other beings. He is not a real renunciate. Normally the monks known for renunciation, they renounce home, family. But if a monk harms any beings or oppresses any beings, he is not a renunciate. Why we normally people oppress other beings? Because they don't like things. The things are not going according to their mind. They don't like. When they don't like, then anger arises. When anger arises, the anger becomes a condition for hatred. Hate. It becomes so strong. then you can oppress other beings. So monks, a renunciate should not oppress other beings. If he oppresses other beings, he is not a true renunciate. So these are two gathas. Now the third gatha. In Pali it is like this: Anupavado anupaghato patimukhe cha sangaro mattanyuta cha bhattasmin pantancha sayanasanam adichitte cha ayogo etan buddhana sasanam. Meaning is not despising, not harming, restraint according to the code of monastic discipline, moderation in food, dwelling in solitude, devotion to meditation. This is the teaching of the Buddhas. So here again it is said in this gatha. So this gatha, these three gathas actually contains all the rules for the monks. It is called Ovada Patimukha, the monastic discipline for the monks. Before there was no Vinaya Pitaka. All the monks were following these three gathas into their practice. So the last gatha is all about monks and their practices, especially last two gathas. So here it is said, not despising, not harming, and a monk should restrain according to the rules of the monastics discipline, and he should also have moderation in the food. So Buddha mostly for the monks and also occasionally emphasize for the lay people also, monks should have moderation in the food, especially when the upasakas or monks are practicing meditation or listening Dhamma talks. They should have moderation in the food. For the monks, they are not allowed to eat after 12 o'clock afternoon. They can only have food in the morning. After the sunrise, we take breakfast, and before 12 we take our lunch. So normally the monks are not allowed to eat after 12 o'clock afternoon. In fact, in the evening they are not allowed to eat. So this is for the monks. This time also, if monks are very devotionally practice meditation, they can also have once meal in a day. They can have food once only a day. For the ladies, you can see what amount of food is sufficient for you to practice meditation. When we eat a lot, then it is quite we can have this sleepiness, drowsiness. We can sleep in the meditation, and we feel so lazy to practice meditation. So this type of difficulties we can face. That is why the Buddha said, avoid consuming lots of food. Have moderation in the food. This is one of the practice for the meditators, for the monks as well. And then Buddha said, dwelling in the solitude. Buddha always encouraged to the monks, Sunyagara gatova, go alone where there is no people. Go to the cemeteries and do meditation. Go under the trees, sit there and practice meditation. Practice these fourfold satipatthanas. So Buddha gave emphasis on to live alone. You can isolate yourself. The Buddha already taught about isolate, like solitude is kind of isolate yourself in the cemeteries. Normally the monks who dwell in the forest monasteries, they practice this. They are separate from the people. They stay in the forest. They go to the cemeteries. They do meditation by seeing the dead bodies, repulsive, and other meditations. So they stay alone. So it is one of the practice for the monks and for the meditators. When we practice, when we dwell in solitude, then we can easily develop concentration, samadhi. Because when we meditate here or in our family or in crowded area where there is lot of sound, lots of disturbance, then our attention gets separated in many other objects. We cannot concentrate on particular object like observing breath. So we can find such difficulties. So that is why Buddha emphasize, you can isolate yourself, you can go to the forest, you can sit under the trees, you can go to the cemeteries and meditate there, because there are no people, there is no disturbance. So here the Buddha emphasized dwelling in solitude, alone. Devotion to the meditation. He should also have devotion, and these two sentences connected to each other, like dwelling in solitude and devotion to the meditation. When you have devotion towards meditation, then surely you will go solitude. You will live alone. You will isolate yourself in the room, or you will sit under the trees where there is no sound, no disturbance, no people. You can do that because you have faith towards meditation. Then the Buddha said, this is the teaching of the Buddhas. This is the teaching of all the Buddhas who taught previously before the Buddha, before the present Buddha, Gautama Buddha. All the Buddhas taught these teachings, these three gathas, to the monks who were practicing. So that is why Buddha taught these gathas to the monks. And to the laities, whoever come in the contact with the Buddha, they can also apply these gathas, these teachings, and they can also be benefited from these teachings of the Buddha. Accordingly, these gathas were taught, these teachings were taught in the past by different Buddhas. That is why the Buddha also taught same teachings. Gautama Buddha also taught same teachings. In the future, when other Buddhas will arise in this world, they will also teach the same thing, same teachings. Like Aryamitya Buddha, when he come, he will also teach these teachings, because this is the custom of the Buddhas. The teachings are same, Four Noble Truths, and these three gathas are same. Noble Eightfold Path are same, no different. So that is why these gathas are very important for the practitioners to know about these gathas, to know about the essence of the teachings of all the Buddhas. This is also called Ovada Patimokha for the monks. These are the very first rules for the monks, the very first monastic code of discipline for the monks. Then later this Vinaya Pitaka come. So with this short talk, I conclude here. I wish every one of you best of health, peace of mind. May you all be freed from dangers and accidents. May you all live happily, peacefully. Sukhi bhaviyani dukkho ahami chamahaviya ita chame sukhi hantu majatha chathavirino imani damakhetam me sattahuntu sukhi sada tato parancharajesu chakavale sujantanu sadhu sadhu sadhu. We conclude this program. See you next Sunday.